We see ourselves also as a kind of transit station. We are not to begin. We are not the starting point for those artists because they, as I said, they are still young, but they have been working for in between 5 and 10 years already, so they develop a kind of language, they develop their own ideas, and we are not the end point, because they will move on to a kind of transit station, in which we have two main objectives. That is, of course, first of all, to make their work stronger, goes without saying, and by that we also need to give it more that to look for another public, to internationalize their work, because we have the means and we have the money to tour internationally. And the second interesting point is that some of those artists, some of these theatre makers, only worked on small stages. And since we have a big one, we also try to encourage them to work for a big stage and so for a broad public. It's not that we oblige them to do so if they decide that it's not the case, that they do not want to work for this broad public or to work in a big theatre. It's their choice. But if possible, we try to encourage them. And we see that most of them are developing in that direction, that they do want to take that challenge. But still, it's a strong tension between, as I said, these individual projects, because they all want to do their own thing. It goes without saying, that's why we ask them. And at the same time, and that is also a kind of explicit question from our side, to form this artistic community. But this tension between highly individual work and at the same time looking for possibilities to collaborate. And it's slowly coming. We've only been there for 2.5 years. We're now preparing for the following period of 4 years. We are subsidized for 4 years. And the next period starts in 2009, from 2009 to 2013. So we're writing now new file to ask for subsidies. So maybe I should say a few words about what we are doing, because this is of course still very general. I just want to say about the different artists a few things. So we have an idea. Hikasis, the man who started it. Before he came, he made, just to give an idea, he made a cycle of 4 performances based on the work of Marcel Proust, La Recherche in search of lost time. So he's always concentrating on novels. He's not interested in a dramatic text or in a dramatic universe. He always reworks novels. And one of his next projects will be a cycle of 3 performances based on The Man Without Qualities by Museum, the one, again, big novel of the 30s. So he concentrates on the one hand on literature, and on the other hand he's very much interested in technology. He uses a lot of video in his performance. We have a choreographer, Sigela Michel. He made a performance here a few years ago. You might have seen it. It's called End. He's half Belgian, half Moroccan. And his interest is, on the one hand, this kind of intercultural dialogue. He takes from lots of traditions, elements. He just made a performance with Chinese monks, with 17 Chinese monks. It's a performance that was presented in London a few months ago. So it has this dialogue, intercultural dialogue, and at the same time it's a kind of spiritual quest. We have Lotte van den Berg, it's a young director from Holland. She has a mime background, and she's not at all busy with text. But she forces people, the public, to look in a very intense way, and it forces them to make very intense observations. We have another artist, Weintraub. He is a kind of postmodern mix, because he's fascinated at the same time by the Middle Ages, by science fiction, pop culture, internet, singing. So all these things mingle in his work. We have a collective. One of the artists is, in fact, it's a collective of 4 actors. And they're very much interested in language. Every play they create a new language based on elements from English, Dutch, German, French, and dialect. So they rewrite the dramatic text in a very, very personal way. Then we have another artist, Benjamin Verdon, who's really a performance artist, who does a lot of actions in the city. For example, he built a bird's nest against a huge building, and he did a kind of performance for 9 days. He did a little place where a lot of people pass when they go to their work, and every day he did something in this nest. He was living there for 9 days. And of course he has his whiteboard you can follow, he writes on it, and you can read what he writes, what he thinks, what he sees. And then last, a guy called Peter Misotto. He's a video man. He works a lot with video installations and tries to look at theater from the point of view of video and video art. So this kind of very mixed, interdisciplinary group of people we brought together, and from which we hope that they will start collaborating. As I said, it's the individual project at the same time. The hope that they will work together. Once we did, that was a year ago, we did a performance with all of them. That was the idea of Kika Sims, the director, who came with a book, of course, again, a novel, History of the World in 10.5 chapters by Julian Barnes. And he said, okay, all choose a chapter, and you do something with it, whatever you want. So all the artists took a chapter, and then we decided to use the theater, which is a theater architecture from the 19th century, so it's a very classical, conventional, beautiful building. And he said, let's perform wherever except on stage. So that's what we did. So they all choose space in the theater, going from the foyer to the basement, to the backstage or under the stage. And so all the public was on a kind of tour in the theater. We made of the theater kind of site-specific work, and that was a very interesting way of introducing everyone to the public. So in one performance, they saw all the different artists dealing with the same text, but in very different ways. And we plan to do that every 3 years. This idea that we all work together on one thing and then present that to the public. So what we try to do, and as I said, it's not always easy. It takes a lot of time and a lot of discussions, is to reinvent the structure every day. Because it's not a structure that is there once and for all, because we have to rethink in the perspective of each artist the whole thing again. We really have to provide 7 different financial, productional, technical, and dramaturgical, even promotional frames. They all have their say in what is going on with their work. And they should agree. If they don't agree individually, then we have to continue the discussion, the negotiation. So that's not always easy. We also have, as I said, to reinvent communication with the public, because we have to present 7 different artists. At the same time, we also see now that certain are going to move out, and others are going to come in. That's part of the plan. That they do not stay for 8 years or for 10 years, no. That they're there for a few years, and that they move on, and then we have to see how we continue to help them moving on, to look for maybe their own structure of other structures, and to see who we invite again. And also now, of course, with the experience, we do not only concentrate on the individual qualities of an artist, but also with the idea, can they work together? Is there interesting combinations? So that's also part of now